Like most of my odd lifestyle choices, switching to a buckwheat mattress was part of a journey towards cutting out things that I reacted badly to and trying to make my life a little more pain-free. I'd noticed that when I slept on a normal mattress, I'd wake up feeling really groggy for 3 to 4 hours, I'd sleep really badly, my whole body, but especially my face, would be puffy for a good 3 hours, and it was always noticeably harder to breathe when I woke up. The best way I can describe it is that my lungs felt heavy and exhausted, like I'd had a brick on my chest all night, and I only realised that this wasn't normal when I started sleeping on the floor for a bit because my new mattress was too soft. Once I started doing this, I noticed that the problems I mentioned before either drastically reduced or completely disappeared. The best thing was being able to wake up in the morning without feeling like my lungs had done a marathon. As you can imagine, when your lungs are doing that, you don't sleep very well. These might seem like mild reactions, but one thing I've found over the last 2 years is that just very small improvements make a huge difference in how manageable my autoimmune disease is, and a bad sleep especially will set other things off, so I started looking for a new mattress, something which was as simple as I could get with as little synthetic materials in it as possible. My criteria for a new mattress was very simple. It needed to fit my budget, it needed to last a reasonable amount of time, and it needed to be made of natural materials, nothing synthetic. And my rule for this was, would I let it rot in my garden? If I didn't want it to rot in my garden, then I didn't want to be sleeping on it. And the last thing it needed to be was firm, nothing soft. I spent a fair amount of time looking. Often I found something that was natural and firm enough for me, but it was way out of the budget, and it often had parts that weren't biodegradable. Finally, I found something that was made in the UK, but it wasn't something I'd really heard of before, but the idea seemed good. It was a cotton mattress stuffed with buckwheat husks which could be removed or added to make the mattress firmer or softer. You could empty out the whole mattress if you wanted, wash the cover and then restuff it, and I liked the idea of that. It's been over 2 years now trying this mattress and the pillows, and these are my final opinions on it. So let's start off with the pillows. It's a little bit like sleeping on a mixture of a beanbag and a memory foam pillow. They rustle slightly when you move them. You can remove or add buckwheat to get the type of firmness that you want out of the pillow, but you wouldn't really want to use these in a pillow fight or someone will get a concussion. In the future though, I might make my own versions. These ones are smaller than normal pillows, so they don't fit the pillowcases properly. There's always this extra fabric flapping around which I find very annoying, and the zip down the side is so small that when I want to wash the case and restuff the pillows, it takes forever to empty and restuff it. Now, it's a small thing really, but it is something that I would like to eliminate in the future once these wear out. As for the mattress, while making the switch to it got rid of most of the problems I mentioned earlier, I am going to start with the cons because this is not going to be a good option for some people. And even for myself, if in a few years I find something else which isn't so heavy, I might just go for that. If I was buying this again, I wouldn't go for the quilted version of this mattress. It's much harder to stuff and keep firm because the buckwheat can easily move around the entire mattress. We bought this one first, but then ended up buying a second mattress which had more of a tube-like construction to layer over the first one because we could never stuff the quilted mattress enough without the buckwheat shuffling around, and then you could feel the slats underneath in a few weeks. And with the tube mattress, the buckwheat can really be packed in, and it can only really move up and down the single tube, so it's much easier to stuff very tightly, and you don't have to shuffle and shake the mattress quite as much as you had to with the quilted version. Next, these mattresses are heavy. Before I got sick, I could just about pick the whole mattress off the bed and move it into the living room if I needed to restuff it, but after I got sick, that became impossible to do for a while, and even now I have to be careful so I don't hurt myself. It's doable, but at times it's very impractical. In the last 3 months of my pregnancy, I suddenly needed a soft surface to sleep on for the first time in my life. My back could not handle any hard surfaces, and for the last trimester I just had to make do with a few more blankets underneath me as padding, and if my back ever needs a soft surface again, I might just have to invest in a good topper, but since then the harder surface has been perfect and I love it. The last thing to point out is the mess. The pillows are easy enough to stuff without making too much of a mess, but the mattress is a whole different ballgame. Now that we just have floorboards in our room, it makes no difference really to me, but when we were renting and I had a carpet in the bedroom, it was so much harder to clean up, and those little buckwheat husks really like to wedge themselves in between the carpet fibres. So if this is the kind of thing that's likely to bug you, you really don't want to go for this mattress. Now that I have this, I sleep so much better. The puffiness is gone, but I think for me, the thing that made the biggest difference was not having my lungs feel so exhausted and really quite painful when I woke up. That part of it has completely gone, and while my sleep isn't perfect, it's a huge improvement on how it used to be. The second thing I really like is that I can add lavender to the pillow. We've only just started to grow our own lavender, but my mum has been growing it for years, and every year there's a large amount of lavender which we need to use up. And one of the ways I've been using it lately is by adding just 1 or 2 handfuls into the pillow, not so much that the smell is overwhelming, but enough for it to have a really pleasant, calming effect. And thirdly, I love that I can just empty out the mattress, throw the cover in the wash, thoroughly clean it, and then restuff it with fresh buckwheat. And the old buckwheat can be composted or just decoratively laid down between the raised beds, or even put on the raised beds if we're trying to get a really nice, healthy soil that we're mixing in with some newer compost. The zero waste aspect of this mattress is something that I very much appreciate, and if it wasn't so heavy, I would be quite happy to stick with this style of mattress for the rest of my life. While the pros ultimately make it worth it for me, if in the next few years I find something more practical, I think I would consider switching, especially if I get sick again. If it was just a single mattress, I don't think it would be so much work, but with a double mattress it gets so heavy it's a workout all on its own, and I can't always do it. It's much better than what I had before, but it's not quite perfect yet. And as usual, if you like my videos and want to see more content, feel free to follow me on the mailing list. Do not subscribe to me on YouTube. That way you get everything sent directly to your email, and I'll have a new video for you soon.